All right, welcome back to another edition of Who You Got. I'm Greg, he's Jimmy. If it's your first time joining us, we thank you. Welcome to the show, and please do us a favor, hit that subscribe like button for us. You can also follow us on X and Instagram at whoyougot33. And if you have any questions, comments, please email them to us at whoyougot33@gmail.com. And remember, it's ya, not you, YA. And you can also check us out on the KC Sports Authority YouTube channel. They post some of our content there, and they put up some great stuff too, especially Jimmy, if you're a Chiefs fan, a Royals fan, maybe even for our boy Dan with Missouri Tigers, they might have a take or two. All right, let's do what we always do to the fans, Jimmy, and piss them off. We'll let you start first with UFC. About 3 people care, but tell them what they're in for this week.
Not a lot. I was looking for a silver lining way to bet this card. I really can't find one. I'm sure there's something down the card that I'm missing, but I'm not going to go into it and bore anybody there. The main event is Johnny Walker versus Zhang. I think it's Mwang. I always get my pronunciations wrong. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Johnny Walker's going to get knocked out. Unfortunately, that's still going to cost you minus 280 to bet it, so there's really no value there. If you were going to bet anything on the card, I would bet Johnny Walker to win by knockout at a plus 450 because that's his only chance to win. He came into the UFC, looked like he was going to be the next champion, and then he got knocked out and just loves getting knocked out since. He's won a couple fights, but yeah, so there's really no way to bet that. The Brian Ortega, Aljamain Sterling fight will be one that I'm interested in watching as it's a free card. I like T-City, Brian Ortega a lot. Aljamain Sterling, great fighter, former champ, should be an exciting fight, but T-City's toast, and it's minus 475, Aljamain Sterling, so no way to bet it. Brian Ortega is named T-City for his triangle choke. He's not going to get Sterling in that, and he's not known to knock people out, so I don't see a way he can pull up that offset, so I don't think there's value there. And then as you go down the card, you've got a bunch of plus 220s, minus 270s, things that we like to avoid. All in all, if you've got nothing else going on Saturday night, there's a couple of fights that would be interesting to watch, but I would avoid the plays.
All right, great segue because we did have a comment from one of our fans, and it was you two. Give Mad Dog a run for the way you mispronounce names. Hey, look, anything we can do like Mad Dog, we're happy to do it.
Yeah, some of these names too have like multiple ways of, like, some people pronounce them right, some people pronounce them wrong. So you're listening to the commentators. You could be watching a UFC event, and the 3 commentators all pronounce somebody's last name different. I've heard Pereira, Pajeda, and Paera for Alex, which I believe the correct pronunciation is Pajeda. You kind of have to roll but they all pronounce this shit differently, so it's really tough to figure out exactly which one's right. And I'm not a linguist, so I'm not. It's not my thing.
Get off our backs, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, shut up.
All right, I don't know where to go next, so I'm just going to throw this one out to you because I'm going to admit that I had no clue. If you didn't see it, John Wall retired from the NBA this week. I got to be honest with you, Jimmy, I thought he retired a couple years ago.
I forgot he existed. Yeah. He was Kentucky, right?
He was Kentucky, absolutely. Yeah, he was on the team that I still can't believe we didn't win with DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, I mean, it's problematic when you go to Washington anyway in the pros.
Yeah, it's a death sentence.
Yeah, it's a death sentence. But I never thought John Wall's game in the pros was that great. He was really... I thought he kind of reminded me of a poor man's Russell Westbrook, really athletic, didn't have a great shot. He just, I don't know. I don't think his game transferred over to the pros as well as everybody expected it to. He was kind of crowned or anointed this next superstar when he came in. He got put in a terrible, shitty situation, never made it out of it, even when he got traded. That's it.
John Wall, I'll take care of this for Jimmy. John Wall was a fantastic player. He was an unbelievable point guard. He battled some injuries, but this guy, you're right, the situation wasn't great. If he got put in the right situation, he was a 4 or 5-time All-Star. Look it up. If he got put in the right situation, this guy would have won some championships, but he unfortunately got a death sentence with one of the worst run franchises in professional sports. Here's a great stat that I heard. I'll shout him out all the time. I heard it on VSiN. How much money do you think he made in 11 seasons in the NBA?
Ooh, how much money did John Wall make in 11 seasons? I bet John Wall made $300 million.
A little less, $250 million, and don't forget he didn't play a game in the last 2 years.
Yeah, where did he play though? Well, what roster was he on the last 2 years, or was he not on a roster?
Great question. I have no clue. Again, I
enjoyed. Like I said, I enjoyed watching him. The few games that I caught of Washington, that's just a tragic situation. Like, Washington is a major market. It should not have such a terrible franchise.
No, look at the Capitals. The Capitals, they draw great. I know they have Ovechkin, arguably not arguably, he is one of the greatest players of all time. But you watch those Capital games. Washington has good fans, and when the Nationals are good, great fans.
Yeah, I think they do, and the Nationals have been at least a solid franchise, and the Commanders are turning it now that they've got new ownership, assuming they sign Terry McLaurin and do the right thing there. But then you have the Wizards. Michael Jordan couldn't save them. Nobody could save them. They can't save them themselves from themselves. I do hear that DC, because and I don't know it obviously extremely well, but because it's so transient with the government work and whatnot, that you get a lot of fans from elsewhere right coming in. But I would think the suburbs aren't as dramatically polarizing, and you'd think they'd get somewhere. Allegedly, whenever the Nuggets play there, they get a huge crowd because there's a huge Serbian population, and it feels like a home game for the Nuggets. So things of that nature happen. But yeah, you'd think they'd figure out a way to go to put a good product on. Instead, they've got the metropolis of Oklahoma City every year relevant, and somehow DC can't get it right.
And I'll tell you, I've been to a few Skins games, and they draw, and their fans there's some crazy fans there.
They're moving that stadium back out of Landover, looks like, back to the old RFK.
Love it. All right, well, I just had to throw out that one NBA thing for this show. All right, we're here, Jimmy. We're in the last golf tournament of the year.
All right.
And I believe it's early next week where Keegan is going to announce the Ryder Cup. For those of you who don't follow it closely, Scotty Scheffler, JJ Spawn, Xander, Russell Henley, who is leading this week, Harris English, and DeChambeau have all qualified. Automatic qualifiers for the Ryder Cup. 7 through 12 right now, because he has 6 captain picks, are Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Ben Griffin, Maverick McNeely, Keegan himself at 11, Brian Harman 12. Now, JT to me is a lock. Ben Griffin to me is a lock. Crying Colin, unfortunately, probably a lock, although I wouldn't put him on this team. McNeely, I think he deserves a spot. Cameron Young, Patrick Cantlay are very interesting. Sam Burns made a charge at the end of the year, also very interesting. Keegan, again, we've said this before. I don't know why you don't listen to the podcast. You really should. You should probably come on the podcast. You got to pick yourself, bro. You should have been on the team 2 years ago. It was a fucking crime that you weren't. I get that you're the captain. I get it. You need to put yourself on the team. Play in the freaking afternoon. Be the captain in the morning. Be in the 2 afternoon sessions. You're one of the top 12 players we have, and we need to win this one at Bethpage, and you need to be on the team because you are one of the top 12 American players, and you're great in these events.
Yeah, I was watching, I don't know what morning news it was. It might have been the Today Show they were on. I might have mentioned this, but they were unveiling the uniforms, and he was asked this point blank again and made a joke about how the question hasn't come up facetiously, but I think he does. I mean, you're not putting yourself in unfairly. You're one of the top 12 guys, right? He's ranked right above Brian Harman. Why would you not put yourself in there? Your job is to give the team the best chance to win, and you're one of the people that can do it.
If it was me, and then I'll throw it back to you, I would go with the 6 picks. JT, Ben Griffin, Maverick McNeely, Keegan, Cameron Young, and Patrick Cantlay. That would be my Ryder Cup team along with the 6 autos.
Yeah, Colin's getting in, so.
But his game is terrible lately. He's going to be a liability.
But do you think, he's ranked 8th right now. You think there's any way that he leaves him off the team?
Remember, this is a 2-year thing. So he was hot last year.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a great season. If it was up to me, I'm putting Cameron Young and Patrick Cantlay in. Sam Burns, I feel bad. You're right there, bro, but you just miss. I feel bad for Goddard up and down. He made a great run, but you know what? Sorry, buddy. Just a little short.
Oh, it would have been awesome, though.
It would have been. It was a great story. But that would be my 12. If Keegan doesn't play because he feels, the awkwardness and the pressure, that is going to be bad for us. And I'm going to be pissed, Keegan, because I got a lot of future bets on America. Don't do it to me. I need you out there. My God.
Agreed. Who'd have thought that Brooks Koepka would have fallen so far down the standings and Jordan Spieth wouldn't?
Brooks doesn't get many opportunities to earn points. He's had a terrible year anyway.
Fair enough, yeah.
That's why it's so impressive Bryson DeChambeau automatically qualified.
Yeah.
Now, I give all the credit in the world to Keegan because early on in this process, Keegan said Bryson's on the team. Like, whether he qualifies or not, Bryson's on the team, so don't even worry about it.
Good. Yeah, I mean, the point is to win.
It is, and Bryson is Bryson, if he was in world rankings, he'd definitely be in the top 4. Could be top 2. I don't know if it would be him or Rory, but he's right there. He is one of the best golfers out there, bar none.
Agreed.
The other golfing story I wrote down, I said, all right, we got to talk about this. Did you see that? And I brought it up Monday because I felt so bad for him because Ricky Fowler fans are passionate. They want this guy to do so well, and he just always comes up a little short these days. Some troll on the internet just bashed him. And Ricky, I'll just paraphrase, Ricky basically said to this dickhead, hey, hide behind your computer, asshole. Why don't you come find me? We can have this talk one-on-one in person. And just for everyone out there, the Who You Got X account responded directly to Ricky Fowler and said, well played, Ricky. Because this is great. Good. I'm like, look, I don't think any athlete needs to respond to these idiots, but I'm sure Ricky was pissed. He felt bad that he didn't make it. But hey, he had a good season. He made a great charge. I mean, he almost got into the Tour Championship. He just missed. This guy, he won last year at the Rocket Mortgage. I mean, look, he had a lot of down years. But this guy has had a great career. There's no reason for anyone to troll him. He doesn't have to prove anything to anyone.
No, it's funny. I don't, with the chaos of young children, all the other things that I have going on, a lot of midday golf tournaments escape me. But I actually was watching that live when he won it last year, and I was pumped for him. Like,
me too.
Yeah, it was a great moment. I think people like Ricky. I don't know if they like Ricky Fowler because he looks like an everyday guy who's like 5'9", 152 pounds, and he hits the ball like he could just be anybody that walked onto the course, and he plays golf well, and that's why they root for him. I don't know, but
he's 5'9" on stilts. But go ahead.
Yeah, right. But I've always rooted for him. I wish he would. We talked about it a couple shows ago when he made the last tournament. Shame he didn't make it all the way, but there's always next year, Ricky. He's still living a pretty good life.
All right, everyone. Look, I need a favor. I need you all to keep on rooting Russell Henley. He had a decent day today. 4 under. He's tied for the lead currently, 13 under. I think Scotty's 8 under. I put a play in. Sorry, I did it Wednesday night, so we didn't have a chance to get it out. But I got Russell 22-1 to win this week. So I got $50 on him. So let's pull so another 1,100 gets added to my football account. All right, Jimmy. Before we get into fantasy stuff and all that and college week 0, I got a couple other things I want to go over with you. Netflix, you've done it again. The Cowboys doc is fantastic. I am 5 episodes in. I just started binge. I couldn't turn it off. It is that good. If you are part of the 81 club like me and Jimmy, and you grew up, you were born in 1981, this is a must watch. A must watch. Irvin, Emmett, Aikman, they're all there. Great stories. You learn a little bit of the background of Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones and how that relationship fell apart and why Barry Switzer got called in, and it's great. And why, prime time wound up there. They basically said, get me that guy after they lost the 94 NFC championship. It is a literal must watch, Jimmy.
Yeah, I need to watch it. Haven't saw it yet. Was talking to our buddy Brian about it last night. He just started it. But it's funny because I asked him about kind of where he was. And one of my first football memories was the 1-15 year when Troy was a rookie. Like, I remember that clearly. Oh, yeah. I don't, what was that? Is that 89, 90? 89, yeah.
89 or 90.
Yeah, one of those two. So I actually clearly remember that year. I don't know why, but that's kind of where my football memories start. So I'm excited to see it because, again, dating back to that, I remember the Bengals and the 49ers Super Bowl only because Walk Like an Egyptian was popular at the time, and it was just play, and they just had to fucking take that and package it with the Bengals in an attempt to market this thing like the Super Bowl needs marketing. But I remember that for different reasons.
Club 81 right here.
Club 81, that's right.
Club 81.
Club 81.
Is Bovair in Club 81?
82.
All right, you're in. Don't worry, you're part of the club.
82.
Yeah. Anywhere from like 81 to 84, you can come into the 81
Team
club.
General, yeah.
It's Team General.
Don't give me that 79 shit though. You're old.
Yeah, no, 79, 80, you're fucking out. Yeah, it's great. So I'm telling you, it's an absolute recommend. And I gotta say, Netflix Sports does a great job with these documentaries. I love Full Swing. I know you weren't a huge fan, but I liked Quarterback both seasons. I love the receiver one. The NBA one I didn't love, but that was the only one. All their other sports docs have been fantastic.
Everybody loves the F1. I don't know if
haven't
you've
got
watched
that
it.
yet. It's on my list.
Yeah, everybody says it's fantastic. I mean, think about how F1 was popular internationally already, and it was sort of, popular here. Not really. It's gained. I think that show has done unbelievable things for F1 in the United States.
Yeah, and look, the other thing for me, because I've told the story on the air before. I was a Cowboys fan as a kid because everybody loved the Niners because the Niners were so great. So I said, all right, who's there? All right, I'll go with the Cowboys. So I started being a Cowboys fan right after the 1-15 year. And then after, all that shit fell, I wound up following Peyton Manning. But regardless, I always have this debate, and I'll have it with anyone. Everyone always says Jerry Rice, greatest receiver of all time. And I say, greatest receiver of all time wore 2 8s on his jersey, and he was called the playmaker for a reason. And this doc, and go watch the U, both those 30 for 30s. Michael Irvin's the greatest receiver of all time. I don't care what anyone fucking wants to say.
Yeah, I will watch his doc, but the U and both of them, but the first 30 for 30 about the U is one of the best. I mean, I've never wanted to be on a team like of all the teams I've ever saw in sports history that you said you can do that, you can be a part of this. That was the one.
Sign me up.
That was the one. They were celebrities. They were hanging out with gangsters. They were partying. They were doing anything they wanted all over South Beach, all over Miami. They've got your boys from Indiana and Notre Dame saying Catholics were convicts. I'm watching that documentary going, who wants to be one of the Catholics in this scenario?
Yeah, I mean, you're not kidding. I'm telling you right now, if this show ever blew up and someone said, all right, you have your wish list of guests, I'd say, fantastic. Can you go find me 3 people? Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, and Michael fucking Irving. Because he is, not only is he a great athlete and the best receiver of all time, he's also a phenomenal storyteller, and he's funny.
Yeah.
And A would be Warren Sapp, by the way. Because he is also hysterical.
Yeah, I could see Warren Sapp being. Yeah. Barkley would be my number 1 for sure, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, Chuck, you got to come Joe.
Yeah,
not only do you have to come the show, let's go golfing.
Then we'll hit the bar afterwards. I mean, see what happens.
We're gonna talk about your gambling stories.
Yeah. See where the day goes. Yeah.
And that's called the Club 81 wish list. It's a new segment we're gonna have. All right. Before we get to fantasy football talk, Jimmy, I didn't tell Jimmy we were gonna do this. We're gonna do something else before we do that.
Good.
It's fantasy season. Everybody's in draft mode. Everyone loves the draft, right? That's everyone's favorite thing to do. I think most people just join fantasy football leagues because of the draft, because that's the fun, right? So me and Jimmy are going to do a real quick bourbon draft.
Ooh.
Here's the rules. Bottles have to be under $120.
It's fair.
All right. We'll go 5 rounds, and we'll snake it. And I'll give Jimmy the first pick.
I like it. Okay. Well, I don't think there's any surprise here, Greg. This is our favorite bourbon. We've discussed this many times. I know it's your favorite bourbon, so I've got to take it off the board.
No, you're gonna do it under the number 1 pick.
The number 1 pick, Eagle Rare.
Wow.
And I'll defend our Eagle Rare pick. We drank it when it was $39.99, and now it's more expensive. I understand. But it's the one that's more expensive, and if you can find it for that $80 range, it's still worth it. They start charging $100, $120, you're like, hey, let's pump the brakes here. I can find enough bottles at $50, $60 that it's worth it. There it is.
I'm drinking it right now. I mean, I never thought it was going number 1, or I wouldn't have done what I just did and gave him the first pick.
Look,
but
it's my favorite. If it goes back to $40, it'll still be my number 1. It was my number 1 then. It's my number 1 now. Eagle Rare.
It is by far the greatest value on the board at $69 to $79, which you'll find it in most places. All right, well, since he did that, I'm taking Booker's and Blanton's off the board. Booker's is a big boy bourbon. It's 126 proof, but I challenge anyone to find a better bourbon for a Manhattan than Booker's. It's got a great kick. And it's by far the number 1 bourbon. It's voted that way every year for Manhattan. So give me Booker's, give me Blanton's. Jimmy, 4 and 5 go to you.
Ooh, all right. Let's take E.H. Taylor.
God damn it!
Take him off the board next.
He does. He did it.
Big fan.
Me too.
Again, got all of these got more expensive, right, over the last 8 to 10 years, and not like based on just inflation. They just got more expensive. So let me see here. So far, I've got Eagle Rare.
And
I've
H.
got
Taylor.
Taylor. I feel pretty good about both of those picks so far. So the next one becomes difficult because do I go? I'm going to go with something that probably wasn't on your board, so I don't need to take this early. But it's truly one of my favorites on the sweeter side. That's Widow Jane.
Okay.
Widow Jane, New York bourbon, love it. Doesn't have as much bite, sweeter back, but I love Widow Jane. Big fan.
It's not a bad pick. So I'm going to stick with what Jimmy and I were doing. We're both huge fans of the Buffalo Trace Distillery. So I'm taking Weller off the board. I guess I'll go with the green bottle because they got bottles upwards of $800-900, but I'll go with the green bottle. That's usually $89.
Okay.
And then I'll kind of follow you here with maybe a little bit of a value pick. And this is going to be a rye. Okay. And I'm going to go with the Angels Envy rye.
Okay.
I think it's usually $89. I think that's about the best rye you'll find out there. There's some that are a little bit more expensive. Don't do it to yourselves. Buy the Angels Envy rye. You'll not be sorry.
So I will. Rye and an old, for me, I usually go bullet rye. That's not my pick here, of course, for 30, but for an old fashioned, if I'm out because I know they have it and I don't have to, if I don't have a bourbon menu and I can't see the bar, it's an easy play. Bullet rye old fashioned. But I will definitely check out the Angels Envy rye. I've never had it. Obviously, we've drank Angels Envy regular bourbon together. But I like it. So next, since you're really picking them off here, so I'm in debate here. Do I take one that's probably considered better, or do I take one that I actually enjoy?
Just the one you enjoy. Don't worry about price point.
Okay, I'm between two here.
It's Rowan's Creek, one of them. I know you're a fan.
I like Rowan's Creek a lot. I like the Bullet 10-year a lot. It's to me, it's tremendously different than the regular, and I do buy it. I drink that one pretty consistently. There's one that we never really talk about, but Breckenridge that I actually like. That's at a pretty reasonable price, right? But you know what I really like? My brother bought me a bottle a long time ago, and I really enjoy it. It's Russell's Reserve.
Russell's Reserve for $30. Everyone, you can find that.
It's $44.99. So it's not. It's not expensive, but it's a 10-year for $45. It's a great go-to everyday drinker because you can find it, and it's good. You can drink it neat. You can make a Manhattan with it, whatever you prefer. But I like it a lot.
So I'll look, for those of you who are bourbon drinkers and you haven't heard of it, I'll elaborate for Jimmy here a little bit. He's 100% right. The 10 years a little bit more expensive. It's fantastic. But if you want a value, $30, you can get the regular one and the rye. It's $30 for the Russells. Russell's a great line. All right, who's your last pick on the team Jimmy?
My last pick, because I'm going to potentially steal it from you, is the Barrel.
What a jerk. You don't even know which one. Which one?
Whatever one we had.
All right, so Jimmy's going with the Barrel 5-year, everyone.
I can't find it here for some reason. And so that's why I don't consistently buy it. I can find the Barrel, but only the high-end bottles. But for some reason in Jersey, I can't find it. Greg he can. And for the price point, for the value play, it was fantastic.
It is a $50 bottle most places. It's 100 proof, and it is the best 100 proof $50 bottle you will ever find in your life. But that's okay, because I am going to go with the exact same brand, and I'm going to go with the Barrel Dovetail, which will get you $89. And to me, this is their best product. It's usually about 116 proof. Another big boy bourbon, but oh my God, does it drink smooth. So, all right, we want to hear your feedback. So hit us up, who you got, 33 at Gmail. What team would you prefer? The value team Jimmy put together of Eagle Rare, Taylor, Widow Jane, Russell's, and Barrel. I got to say, Jimmy built a good team, and if you average this price point out, it's probably like $60 a bottle, if that, maybe 55. Mine's a lot more expensive, but I got Booker's, Blanton's, Weller's, Angels Envy Rye, and the Barrel Dovetail. So my team probably cost you about $89 a player, maybe a little less, maybe $80 a player. Which team do you prefer? Hit us up at whoyougot33 at gmail.com. And with that, Jimmy, let's get to the real fantasy. Fantasy football. This is the biggest draft week of the year. Everybody, great news. Me and Jimmy are in a league together. We're going head-to-head. It's a keeper league. It's going to be fun. We'll talk about it here, so we'll be able to give you kind of start, sit, takes. And now I'm going to give Jimmy and his partner Anthony some free fantasy advice during this show. But Jimmy, let me ask you: when you go into a draft, what is your strategy when you go in?
In a keeper league, in a non-keeper, or
Yeah,
just in general?
we're in a keeper league, but we'll kind of go both. When we go into a keeper league, we keep 4. We have 17 rounds. What's your strategy here?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think you play more to positions when you're in a keeper league. You know what you're keeping. You look at your value, where they come. Right, you've got to look at your rankings. Look at where your keepers are potentially going to go, and anywhere you can get 4 or 5 rounds of value out of it, right? Because you made a great pick last year that hit. You keep them, even if you like a guy earlier that's better. They should still be around when it comes by. Now, in a keeper, you might have to move that up a round or two because your people are going to be overvalued. So if you've got a guy that's ranked in the 6th round and you can get him in the 6th, you can still go that route if you really like him, because in your keeper league, there's a chance he's going in the 4th or the 5th, right? So that's how I start to assess it. I don't worry about the position. I just look for value at any position, if that makes sense in the keeper. What about yourself?
Well, look, so the story here quickly is I bought a team that was abandoned in Jimmy's league. The commissioner did me a solid, and I'm going to reset with my keepers. So this is my first year. I got saddled with a roster. But I got to tell you, the guy who walked away, he walked away from a decent team, because I'll let Jimmy talk about who he's keeping and why in a minute, or like you can think who you're talking about keeping, I guess, because you're going to have to make a final decision with Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm keeping Nico Collins, Ladd McConkey, George Kittle, and Devon Achane, and not one of them is above a 9th round pick. So it's amazing what this guy left on the table, and that's what I mean. So I think I'm setting myself up pretty well here in this league. I think what Jimmy said is true. If you're in a keeper league, you got to look for value. So I'm getting basically 4 top. What do you think? 2. Maybe Kittle's a 3rd round pick, so 4 top 3 round picks, right? Or top 4 picks that will go in the top 3 rounds is the way I should phrase it. And I'm getting them from round 9 and back. How about you?
Yeah, it's great value.
I mean, I know,
and it's great value for you. And when we present you with team, that was the whole thing. We're like, hey, we need a 10th person in this league. Let's shop it around. But this isn't a gimme. Like, this is a solid team. Like, why is this guy dropping out of this league?
We won't disclose, but we don't want our wives hearing. But it's a big money league. This is not a small entry fee. So my only terms here, and I thought it was fair, was like I got to build for the future. I want to at least start fresh. And the commissioner was cool enough to say, yeah, that's fine. That's fair. So I potentially can have Nico, Ladd. Probably not Kittle. He's getting up there, but an Achane for 3 years. So I think I'm setting myself up pretty well here in this league. Jimmy made a couple great picks, and I'll let him talk about it in a second. I'm assuming you're going to keep Baker.
Yeah, so we have great value in Baker. We're going to get Baker 4 or 5 rounds ahead of where he gets drafted. I think we get him in the 13th round.
13th round. This guy's going to go in the 5th round, maybe.
Well, there you go. We might have 7 or 8.
It's 6th round in our league, because look, this league's a super flex, so you're going to start 2 quarterbacks. So the quarterback value in our league is a little higher than your standard regular PPR league where you start 1.
Yeah, so that's going to be so we've got that figured out, and our other for sure keeper is Chase Brown. We're going to get Chase Brown in the 12th, which is a home run. It's
great value.
Yeah.
So here's what I would say. As we're talking this out, I'll give you some tips for your leagues, and especially if you're just in a standard redraft league. If you're on the 1, if you're 1-1 and you're going to go Chase, do yourself a favor. Immediately scratch out T. Higgins and Brown. Don't stack in regular leagues. Best ball, I'm not talking to you guys. Absolutely. Best ball, stack it away. But cross those 2 out. You don't want to compete. Okay? So I'd say nominal value. Make sure you don't draft the other Bengals, though.
No, I agree. And so after that is where it gets a little dicey. We're pretty sure we're keeping C.J. Stroud. You might think C.J. Stroud down your 2nd year. We drafted him in the 17th round as a rookie. We kept him last year in the 17th. So this year we get him in the 16th. In a super flex league, that there's still value there, even though he's scheduled to go in the 16th. And in the chance that he blows up this year and has a good year again, we'll have him the following year in a really, really high value spot. So that's on the table. After that, it's kind of a roll of the dice. Like I said, we're going to get Baker in the 13th. We get CJ in the 16th. And we get Chase Brown in the 12th. Mike Evans, we'd get him in the 5th. That's possible. I know, Derrick Henry. We'd have to keep him in the third, but that's a possibility. So those are a couple things that are on the table for us. Cortland Sutton would be a ninth round pick, possible. We're basically not settled on the fourth keeper. We expanded the league from 3 to 4 this year. We kind of knew the 3 we were going in with when that was voted upon. We're really in hot debate on what to do with the fourth.
So Mike Evans is, if I had your team, and because you have Baker, and because I think Tampa's winning this division and they're going to put up points, I think their offense is again set up. It's set up to put up some big points. I think the running back is going to have a big year, and Bucky Irving. I would do the stack there. I would put Evans in because all this guy does is catch 1,000 yards, a 1,000-yard season. Look, he's going off. Usually in most drafts, he's going 34th. So in this draft, he'd be 4th pick in round 4, but in most drafts, he'd sneak into the 3rd round, right?
Yeah.
I would take Mike Evans if I was you. Look, normally I would tell you you're out of your effing mind to keep 2 quarterbacks, but you have such value in CJ, you'd be silly not to.
Yeah, and that's kind of where our thought is. I think the stack with Baker and Mike Evans, like I said, until Mike Evans doesn't have a 1,000-yard season, why would you bet he's not going to do it?
Right? You got to do it.
Yeah. So, we've got there's some interesting things on the board. Like I said, Cortland Sutton. We've got James Conner. We could keep in the 8th. We've got. I know we're not going
to. Conner, if you really love him, you can get him back.
Yeah, that's what we figured. Jameson Williams, we took in the 11th. People are valuing him higher. But I think that's probably the way we're going to end up going. Baker and Chase Brown are our 2 absolutes. Round 12, round 13 for sure. What great value.
CJ should be your number 1. I mean, you're going to get him in round 16?
What's that? CJ?
Yeah.
Yeah, and CJ is 16, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be silly. You'd be crazy.
So we stack those 3, and we're going to debate the last one until we have to get the spreadsheet in.
Yeah,
but that's the key. At the end of these drafts, I don't know, especially in a draft like this where quarterbacks are valued, but any of these rookies get to the back half of the draft and that's where you take your shot. What are you going to draft? A third receiver on an average team, or somebody you're going to take a swing on when he could be a keeper, right?
Well, that's the difference between keeper and a regular redraft league. So yeah, no, I wouldn't hate on anyone for drafting them in the late rounds, again, without giving out, and hopefully because Anthony listens, hopefully the other 8 teams don't listen until after the draft. But what I would tell you is no, because here's what you can do. Eventually, someone's going to drop someone, and you could pick them up, and then they would immediately go to a 17th round pick last year, I'm assuming. I don't know all the rules, but if they were undrafted, right?
That's a great question. I don't know if they were drafted and dropped and then you pick them, I don't know if you get them in that same spot or if it goes to like ADP. I'm not positive, but it's something we can look into. If they weren't drafted at all and you pick them up, then it goes to 7. Yeah, then it goes to the back half, I believe.
So like a Jackson Dart might not get drafted. He's someone, if you're quick on the waiver wire, you get him and he becomes the starter in the heir apparent. Ooh, you're going to have him 3 years. You're going to have him at the back of the draft. So for me, and I know he'll go anyways, but for me, if I could get like a JJ late, he would be someone I'd throw on my team. Yeah. Because I've been saying this for months on this show. I think JJ McCarthy is going to be a great NFL quarterback. A lot of people don't. I do. The other thing I'll throw out for standard, when I say standard, I'm not talking about I'm talking about standard PPR 16-round draft where you have a kicker and a D, or maybe you don't have the kicker, but you have the D. Remember this, everyone, when you're drafting this weekend or next weekend. You're drafting starters when you're playing fantasy football. If you go into it and you write down, all right, I get 16 picks, so I need 2 quarterbacks, this many receivers, this many this, and 3 tight ends and 2 D, you're out of your mind. Don't draft for an injury. Draft who makes sense. And if you're a guy who's listening to us right now and you draft 2 defenses every year, do yourself a favor. Call up your commissioner and say, you know what, I don't think I should play fantasy football anymore because you're a moron. We like you. I want you to listen still, but you're a dope. And just listen to my gambling picks and just go play on DraftKings. Take the $100 that you put in your home league and just go make plays off my college bets or my NFL bets. Don't play fantasy anymore. Do not draft for injuries. And look, there's a big debate out there, Jimmy. And I know there's flex positions and everything, but I'll tell you right now, if you get a top 2, maybe even me with Kittle tight end, why are you drafting a second tight end?
No point. You're going to play him once.
You literally just need to pick someone up for 1 week. Like for me, George Kittle's bye week is 14. I'm going to be almost in my playoffs. I might not even need to pick up another tight end. Now, look, I say this all the time. I play the board. So if I'm in round 10 and Mark Andrews is still there, I'm fucking taking him. But you're not gonna put a tight end in a flex spot ever. You're just not. A wide receiver 2, and when I say that I mean a second wide receiver on a team like a Jordan Addison, is gonna put up more points than a low end tight end like even a Loveland on Chicago. Or Goddard, who people think is a great value. I'll take Addison all day as my flex.
Yeah, 100%. I play the board as well. I think, look, it depends on how deep your knowledge is of it. When you're drafting, as long as you can read quick enough, you can kind of figure out, like, who's being talked about in high regard and who isn't, right, quickly. When you get to the lower rounds, if you know your teams and you know their depth chart or you've watched a little preseason, you can then take some chances and draft people ahead of where they should be. But at the top of the board, let other people do that. Let other people reach for somebody they have a fondness for or somebody who's betting on what they've done in the past, not what they now are, right? Let somebody else take those risks. So if you got your mindset and you're drafting, if you're 9-11 or whatever you are, and you're targeting 2 players, but somebody reaches and takes someone else, and this guy falls that you didn't expect to be there, take him. Change your game plan up, right? Maybe you get both. Maybe you get one of the guys you wanted at 11 as well, or at least that second guy will probably be there. But let other people make the mistakes. Don't get emotionally connected to your picks because you decided this is the way you want to go. That's not smart. That's not a smart way to play. It's not smart money. Don't worry about what team they're on. Let other people make mistakes ahead of you, and you capitalize on them.
100%. That's well put. Play the board. Play the board. Especially if you can pick someone off a free agency.
Yeah.
And here's a secret. Look, I won't tell Jimmy. I'll just tell all you. You don't have to draft a defense in your draft.
No.
You can just pick them up right off the waiver wire.
Yep.
And if you are drafting, and most leagues are 16 teams, guess what round, Jimmy, you should draft your defense in?
16.
There it is. Like, I always say this. I said this on the show we did with Keegan over at KC Sports Authority YouTube channel. Check it out. There was always a dope 5 years ago who in like round 7 or 8 thought they were being cute and would draft Justin Tucker as the kicker off the board. And I'd be like, you are so stupid. And that team would miss the playoffs every year.
Yeah. Yep. Leagues with kickers, here's the move. This is my move. Kickers usually don't have 2 or 3 huge weeks in a row. So just find a good kicker that had a down week where the team didn't score, who's playing in a dome the next week, and take him and put him in.
Right. I would say it all the time. I'd be like, you drafted Justin Tucker, but you just told me Lamar Jackson's the greatest quarterback of all time. How is he the greatest quarterback if he can't get in the end zone?
Yeah, it's going to be
so do you want 1 point? Like, you draft a team who can't get in. Draft a kicker whose team can't get in the end zone.
Yeah.
And plays in a dome. I used to always take the Colts kicker. I'd be like, all right, this team can't score.
Yeah.
And he's in a dome. That's another thing. If you're in a league that has a stupid kicker, take someone in a dome, to Jimmy's point.
Or just switch it every week. Just pick and drop and pick and drop and pick and drop because that's what happens, right? There's ebbs and flows of this. There's no kicker in the history of the NFL that makes 5 field goals a game every game.
No.
So just if you're in a league that you're forced to play one, just bounce your kicker around. And just like your defense. Don't drive a defense. Play the matchups, right? You play the matchups. Like pick up because somebody will draft, I don't know, pick a team that somebody will draft the Chargers and they won't drop them all year long because they're the Chargers and they're supposed to have a great defense and they just will keep them no matter what. But most people are up and down on defenses. Find who's ever playing, I don't know, the Saints next week and pick them up, right?
Yeah. Streamlining defense is a great strategy every year. I have no problem with it. All right, so I'll throw this one out to you, Jimmy. We'll run some scenarios. If you're in a standard league this year, and again, when I say standard, I mean 10 or 12 teams, PPR, redraft league, not a keeper like me and Jimmy are playing in, and you get put with the 1-1, who are you taking?
I mean, there's not a wrong answer as long as your answer is Chase or Bijan. I would probably go, as we've talked about this extensively, I'd probably go Bijan Robinson. And if I really think they're going to be that high powered, pull T Higgins try to get T Higgins at 20 if he's still somehow around.
And he will be at 20 if you're
And if he's not, it's fine. Play for the next whoever's next up, right? But you've sold me on this. Like Bijan's been really good. I haven't seen greatness out of him, but I've seen like, man, this guy's clearly got the talent to do it, and everybody seems to think that this is going to be the year. Worry about the Falcons a little bit. I don't know, is Michael Penix the real deal or is he not?
Here's the thing with the Falcons.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
It doesn't matter if Penix is the real deal. The Falcons in that division will be competitive. They're going to be between if the season goes terrible, they'll be a 6-win team. If the season goes fantastic, they'll be a 10-win team, and maybe they'll knock the Bucs out. And that could happen to everybody. But what we do know is they're good enough to compete. We saw that last year. Bijan Robinson is one of, if not the best running back in football. To me, if I was ranking the running backs, and when I tell you who my third is, everyone's going to scream. For me, one, Bijan Robinson, 2 is Gibbs, and 3 is still JT. Eat me. I don't know why people are so soured on this guy. He's been in most rankings out of all the running backs. Jonathan Taylor is a phenomenal back. It's not a phenomenal, not good, phenomenal. I don't understand. I get he plays for the Colts. He still knows how to run the ball. And if they open a hole for this guy, he's going to get through it. And he's going to score touchdowns. Those are my top 3 backs. Number 4 for me is A-Chain. Then I lean the rookie for the Raiders. And then probably Henry and CMC. That's how I view it. But for me, I told you, Jimmy, and I told you I already bet this at 18-1. I think Bijan Robinson is going to be sitting there the week before the Super Bowl because, shocker, he's not going to be in the Super Bowl. He'll be sitting right there live on the award show, and he is going to win Offensive Player of the Year. He's going to score 15 to 20 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, the thing with the running back, I don't disagree with your list. I think I would go Bijan, and then I like Gibbs. Saquon's up there, but how many times does somebody follow up 2,000 yards with 2,000 yards? Christian McCaffrey's always hurt. Derrick Henry's somehow still doing it. Ashton Genty looked really good in his second preseason game. The first preseason game, it looked like they had an offensive line out of high school and they couldn't block anybody. And the second one, again, it's preseason, but you saw why he was such a high-level draft pick. JT, to your point, I think this is my problem with this. After that, 10 through, let's say, I won't go down to 25, but let's say 10 through 20, any one of these guys to me could end up jumping and being a top 3 running back at the end of the year. Like a Bucky Irving, everybody's high on him. Chase Brown, we just talked about. Kyron Williams got a new deal. He's solid. James Cook, they're going to run the ball up there. Omarion Hampton, a rookie they're really high on. Kenneth Walker, I loved him at Michigan State, has played well, battled some injuries. Kamara, I mean, if he had a decent, I don't care at his age, if he had a team that could play football at all, he would be he could easily, be a top 3 guy. Breece Hall is going to catch a ton of balls out of the backfield. In the PPR league, he's got a lot of value this year. People love Chuba Hubbard. I don't know like if Carolina's going to do anything. James Conner, the ageless wonder. And I don't know a lot about Tre'Davion Henderson, but my point is, like, any of those names I just rattled off when your 10 to 20 ranking list could end up being a top 3 running back when it's done. I really believe that.
I don't hate what you're saying. I think undervalued on this board because you look at the top 10 everywhere. After you get out of Bucky Irving is usually the cutoff. I think undervalued, huge undervalued to me is Jonathan Taylor, as I've said on this show many times. Kyron Williams gets no respect for some reason. Alvin Kamara, again, I've said it, and I said it again on the show we did with Casey Sports Authority. They still are going to score points, everybody, and the only good offensive player on that team is Alvin Kamara. He's going to put up numbers. He's going to score eventually. If Kenneth Walker can stay healthy, all in. James Cook just got his deal. This guy's a phenomenal running back. And he plays with Josh Allen, who they have to respect the pass because Josh Allen's that freaking good. And they have to respect Josh Allen running. So it's not like they can load the box up and just key in on James Cook going up the middle or off tackle. So I love James Cook. Hampton's he's a wild card here because he's a rookie, but we know what Captain Comeback wants to do, and that's run the ball and play games, right?
Yeah,
that's what he does. James Conner, like Jimmy said, I don't understand it. He just doesn't age. He's kind of like He's like the level 2 of Henry. He's like there's Henry, and then there's the Terminator. Terminator doesn't age. Henry doesn't age. Jimmy's take is 100% right. Any of these running backs from 11 to 20 could be a top 3 at the end of the year. You just don't know.
You don't know. So go with who you like. I think after that, my most overvalued is Tony Pollard. I think he really got a good deal coming out. I mean, he ran behind an awesome line in Dallas, and that helped him. I think he's a good back, but I think you can get Aaron Jones two ranks behind him, and Aaron Jones is the number 1 back in Minnesota. He's a great pass catcher. If J.J. McCarthy is going to be as good as we think he can be, he's going to need a check down running back, but he can also just flat out run routes, right? He did it with Rodgers for years down sideline. I think he's really good value down the board. I don't know why people are, maybe because Nick Chubb is there, but if Joe Mixon is healthy, he's another guy that doesn't seem to age, runs hard all the time. I don't know. I think it feels like it's deeper than it's been before on running backs. I would still go to the original question, Bijan number 1, because there's less running backs, but it does feel deeper if you know who to pluck than it has in years, at least the previous years, where there's just a run on running backs. Because again, there's 3 receivers on every team. You might not get the top value there, but if you've got a running back that doesn't get any touches, you're hosed. You're cooked.
All right, who's your sleeper running back? Everybody is already in love with one, but I'll let you go first, and then I'll give my take.
I mean, look, I don't know that this changes because of the situation. I'm going to tell you, and I'm not a homer on this, but I think because Quinton Junkins didn't sign, I think Jerome Ford is going to get a lot of run in Cleveland if you really need to go late.
I got to be honest with you. I don't understand why he's so disrespected. I think he's a great little back, especially on those pass catches. I don't know why he's going so late. He's someone I definitely target in leagues that, you have a deep draft. A 16 round league, it's a little tough. Maybe you take him last and take a flyer on him, but I have no problem with Jerome Ford.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one, and I know we talked about not driving for injury, but Brian Robinson just got traded to San Francisco, and Kyle Shanahan puts the best offensive schemes to get the running back in the best positions of anybody, even the backups, right? Does anybody think CMC is going to play 17 games this year?
No, absolutely not.
And they use 2 backs a lot anyway. So I think his value just got interesting. And you could also say Austin Eckler's value just got more interesting because they didn't get a back for him.
So you brought up a good one here because Brian Robinson Jr. is out, as we know. I believe did he sign with San Francisco? Is that where he is now?
Yeah, he's in. Yeah, so he got traded for a 6th round pick to San Francisco. Right. As of earlier today, it was pending a physical, assuming he passes. And again, so I think either one of them just gained a lot of value in fantasy.
So yeah, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is the big sexy pick that everyone's been talking about for the last week and a half because of the Brian Robinson Jr. info. I would tell you, pump the brakes a little bit. You can get him at the back end of your draft, maybe as a flyer, okay. But let's not forget, Austin Eckler was a top 5 back in this league for a long, long time.
Quite a while.
He had a great season last year until he took that big hit late in the season and got kind of knocked out. Austin Eckler, if he is healthy, he's gonna be the number 1. But look, I'm not gonna pound anyone for taking Ja'Cory late. But I would tell you, if you look at these rankings, Ja'Cory has moved up to 45, and sitting right above him is Braylon Allen at 44, and I would be all in on Allen before Ja'Cory for one reason. The Jets have already come out and said Allen is going to be a huge part of this offense this year.
Yeah, he's a different runner. He's a completely different type of back than Breece Hall is. But they're really good combo. I've also heard a lot of speculation that if the Jets want to go with 3 running backs, again, Breece Hall is extremely valuable in the passing game. But if the Jets and they've said they're not trading him, but if the Jets are 2-6, 8 games into the year, Breece Hall has value, and Braylon Allen's running all over everybody, there's a chance that they might field some calls on Breece Hall. And if that happens, then Braylon Allen's a home run. Right. So no, I like where your thoughts are. I think that he could be really good value, and we know one thing: the Jets can't throw the ball, at least not well downfield, and we know they can run it extremely well. So that's what's going to happen. There's no danger in taking 2 Jets backs, in my opinion. They both have value in this draft, but they are the Jets, so they might let you down.
They will let you down, not might.
Yeah.
All right. let's go to QB. Let's hit that real quick. Who are you targeting for QB on the top half of the board, and then what's your flyer late?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think you can go wrong with the top Allen, Lamar, Jane Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow. I don't really think you can go wrong there. Patrick Mahomes, if he was, I don't think it's a terrible pick this year either because he's fallen down the board. I mean, you could get him later where he used to be a top pick. But at the top, I'm going to stick probably Lamar this year. It would be Lamar or Josh Allen would be one of my two. I think Jane Daniels is going to have a good year. I've talked about second year quarterbacks. I still think he's in fantasy for sure. He's got great value, and Jalen Hurts does as well. But I'd probably stick with one of those two, just depending on how the board broke to me. Josh probably number one, and Lamar number two, which is chalk. I get it, but it is for a reason. Every year they produce, and they're the known commodities here, right? You know what they're going to, as long as they are on the field, they're going to score points for you.
You're not wrong. Josh, Lamar, great picks. But for me, and you're drafting after me in round 1, so it doesn't matter. My number one target here is Joe Burrow. I think he is going to put up historic numbers. I think the numbers we see Joe Burrow put up this year is going to be eye-popping. I think he's going to break records, Jimmy. Maybe most yards ever thrown in a season, maybe most touchdown passes ever thrown in a season. I think the preseason showed us all we need to know about the Bengals. Their defense couldn't stop anyone.
Yeah.
But their offense, I mean, it was like literally bing, 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 touchdown Joe Burrow. Thank you. This Cincinnati team, and I said this before, and I'll say it again. If this freaking team played indoors, they might average 50 points a game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to get you a lot of yards on the ground, which is usually great in fantasy, but he should have to throw so much, and he's obviously deadly accurate, and he's got the best 1-2 combo probably in the league. I don't hate the.
You want do you want a sleeper or a deep sleeper?
Let's do both. Give me a sleeper, then your deep sleeper. I'll give you my two, and I'll give you my overrated too.
A sleeper for me is Bryce Young. I think he could put up some numbers this year in Carolina with Hubbard. And then my deep sleeper that I think now that we know he's the starter that's being well undervalued is Danny Dimes. I think he'll score enough points where you'll get value out of him being the 29th quarterback off the board.
You might be right. So my overrated, I'll start here, is Justin Fields at number 12. Again, I know he can run the football, but unless he's getting into the end zone consistently, because he's going to get you nothing with his arm. So to take Justin Fields at 12, I think is extremely overrated, especially with Justin Herbert 2 picks behind him. I mean, there's too much talent going down the board after that. So I think, to me, that's the biggest overrated quarterback on the board. I think Jordan Love at 17 is for a mid-round pick. They drafted Golden. They've got a good team up there. They expect to be good. They've got a good offensive mind as a head coach. I think the fact that he is behind Caleb Williams and Drake May is a little bit of a reach for me. Like, I would draft Jordan Love before I drafted either one of those guys. I know they could be good. Jordan Love's young as well, proven himself to be really good. And I'm going to take his old starting quarterback as my deep sleeper. Give me Aaron Rodgers at 28. He had a really good second half of last year. I'm not saying he's going to be the fantasy. He's going to light it up like he did when he would throw for 45 touchdowns and only hurt you with 3 interceptions. But my God, he had a good second half of last year, and he's probably going to go undrafted in a lot of leagues, right? I mean, you can grab this guy off the waiver wire. If he throws for 35 touchdowns and 8 interceptions this year, or 10 interceptions, that's a pretty good year for a quarterback. And I promise you, sadly, your boy Sam Darnold, like Cam Ward, Matthew Stafford, who's got a back, hasn't thrown a football. These guys are all ranked above him. I would go down and take one last shot on Rodgers based on it at the end of the last year.
Yep, no, I agree. All right, give me for wide receivers. Forget the top 3: Jamar, CD, and Justin. We know those are going off the board. After them, who's your next top receiver? Then who's your second to third round? And then who's your deep sleeper that everyone might not realize? Not even a deep sleeper, but just a sleeper later in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, look, I like Amon-Ra here. I know Malik Neighbors. I think he's going to be great. I don't think that's a bad pick at all, but I think the Giants, to your point, the tough schedule, instability at quarterback, Jackson Dart's guy of the future, who's going to play up front. Nico Collins, fantastic. Love him with C.J. Stroud. But all Amon-Ra St. Brown does is catch every ball coming his way. Puka Nacua is great. He's there's a true 1-2 out there. He's probably the second best receiver on his team now, though nobody wants to admit it, right? I think that's going to show if one Stafford lights it up with Devontae Adams. So, yeah, I go a couple steps down. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown would be the no-brainer number 4.
So I love Amon-Ra. You know that. I'm a Lions guy.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing. I completely agree with you. Neighbors should not be rated ahead of him. Puka, I'm 100% with you with Devontae there. Amon-Ra has so much. There, you got the tight end, Laporta, who's great. You got the 2 running backs who score touchdowns. So for me, and I'm happy because he's my keeper, is Nico Collins. Because with Tank Dell out, I love Nico this year. I think Nico could get off to a great start. By the time Tank gets back, it's going to be probably week 13, 14, 15. I think Nico's going to have a huge, huge year. And then if I'm looking like round 4 or 5 here, trying to find someone who's undervalued maybe, God, I know the contract thing here it's a thing, but I love Terry McLaurin. I think he'll have a big year, and I think he'll sign. But here's my one, and I'll be taking him in our league, but he's probably a keeper because he was a rookie last year. Marvin Harrison Jr., don't believe what you saw year 1. This guy is going to be a phenomenal receiver in this league. I am all over him in my best ball leagues. He is if you can get this guy in round 4, he's going to be your best value pick of the year.
I like it. I mean, this isn't so far down the board, but there's a lot of reports coming out of Tennessee that Cam Ward is going to do some things in his rookie year. And Calvin Ridley's a good receiver. And he's a 27th ranked receiver. That means you could probably get him in the 4th or the 5th round. I don't know where he's been going. But Calvin Ridley could easily be a top 10. I think him being at 27, if they do anything there, that's going to be his guy. And he had some awesome years in Atlanta before he headed to Jacksonville, had to take the year off for gambling and so on. But they say he looks great in camp. So to be that far ranked down, again, it's hinging on Cam Ward being the real deal. But as long as he throws the ball up, I think Calvin Ridley's there to catch it. Ricky Pearsall's an interesting choice because everybody's out for San Francisco till October, right?
So me and Jimmy just locked up. That's my sleeper. I hate to put the secret out there. If you can get this guy in the 8th round or deeper, there's no one there except Kittle. That's why I'm so happy with Kittle and CMC. If you can get CMC and he stays healthy, you're going to be in for a lot of fantasy points because there is nobody there. Kittle and Pearsall are the 2 ball catchers that are going to be there.
Yeah, and there's such thing. I mean, chemistry is real. Like if they get into deep into October, yes, Ayuk's coming back. They've got some other pieces, but like Juwan Jennings will be back. But Ricky Pearsall, if he's established himself, they're not going to go away from him. He's just throwing the ball somewhere else. Like he's going to be the guy. So yeah, I think those are really, really strong picks. Yeah, look, do I think there's some value down the board? Sure. I think Romeo Doubs is interesting really, really late because Golden's going to take some of the pressure off him, and he's shown flashes of being greatness. You want my old guy pick? I said before that I used to take Larry Fitzgerald every year at the end of the draft, and all he did was a great 3rd option or a bye week guy. He always somehow, he wasn't going deep all the time, but he caught 5-6 balls a game for 60 yards. Like you could at least count on him to not be his ear. Give me Keenan Allen back in LA. Like back with Herbert, back in that situation. You can get him really late. I mean, some people are saying, you've got DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, no, leave that. He's not an every down player anymore. He's going to come in specialty. Keenan Allen's going to miss some games hurt, but he was great for years. He's going back to LA after a quick stint in Chicago. You can get him super late. There's my old dog, and my younger guy, I would take the Romeo Doubs, the Reservoir Doubs, as I like to call him.
Yeah, nothing made me happier than seeing Allen back because that's going to take a little pressure off Ladd because they're going to need to pay a little attention to Keenan when he's healthy. So, yeah, I agree with you there. How about tight end? For me, if you can get one of the top 3, Bowers, McBride, or Kittle, and Kittle popped into the top 3 because, again, there's nobody playing for San Francisco, so Kittle might score a bunch here. There's no one left. After that, for me, down the board, if you're on real late, Gesicki with Cincinnati because they're going to score so many points, I think is an interesting option. I think Otten's a good option with Baker if you're that deep. Don't hate Zach Ertz in Washington.
I really like Zach Ertz in Washington. He's another one that doesn't age.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree. I don't hate Kincaid if someone wants to give him another shot. I think Loveland is way too overvalued now. in the top, 15. He's a rookie. We don't even know what he is. And Komet is still there, and Komet is a good tight end. Komet has had some big seasons and caught a lot of touchdowns. Njoku, for me, he's never healthy, so I'm going to pass on him probably. I think Mark Andrews is undervalued. And, hey, I have no problem with anyone now that he's like the 17th or 18th tight end off the board. You want to take another shot with Kyle Pitts? Go ahead.
I agree. I think, look, after you get through the list, why not take a shot on Kyle Pitts? Because it's always hit or miss. So your top three. Look, Sam Laporta's number 4. I think it's a great option. TJ Hawkinson's come around. Travis Kelce's clearly over the hill to a point, but I don't hate it. Njoku, because I watch a lot of his games, he's good, but he's never been great. He's a good blocker. He's a good football player, but he's never been a high-end fantasy producer. So yeah, I don't hate going down. I mean, I'm naming all these names. Why not take a flyer on Kyle Pitts and see if he turns? He was supposed to be transcendent at the tight end position, right? He was drafted. What was he, top 5 pick in the NFL draft? Was he number 3 or something?
In the real, way up the board.
Yeah,
way up the board.
In the real draft, in like the NFL draft, right? Like he was drafted. Like this guy was supposed to be a transcendent player that would change your team. Is he a receiver? Is he a tight end? He can do it all. At some point, you'd think that talent has to come through at a higher level in the NFL. So I don't mind Kyle Pitts. I love Zach Ertz. Safety net for a young quarterback in Jaden Daniels. All he does is continue to play football at a high level. Philadelphia, Arizona, now Washington, right? So, yeah. And Cade Otton, we paired him with Baker last year. He had a few really solid games for him, so I like that pick as well.
All right, everyone, we're going to end with week 0 college football picks. Well, the first thing I'm going to say is Ohio State fans. I don't know if you saw the AP poll, but they agreed with your boy Greg, and Penn State is the number 2 team in the land, Jimmy, not Ohio State, like I've been saying for weeks on this show. And Penn State almost number 1. The AP gave Texas 25 first-place votes. Penn State right behind them with 23. Again, you've heard me say it. They are the most talented team in the country. This is the year Franklin wins the national championship. Penn State is your team. What do you think when you saw the initial top 25 here from the AP? The coaches, I don't really put much stock in because they're coaches. And look, I got a little inside information here. I'm not going to tell you who. But I've known some SIDs in my day, and coaches sometimes just hand it to the SID and say, hey, just fill this out for me. Yeah. So I don't put any stock in the coaches poll. The AP is where I put my stock in, and Penn State's number 2. When you looked at this initial ranking, any issues with it?
No, I mean, I like the fact that they're swapped. I like that it proves you right. I can't believe Penn State got as many first place votes in the AP as they did.
Told you, they're awesome.
Yeah, you were right on that. No, I mean, I'm excited. Michigan, we knew they were going to be in that somewhere in that mid-teens range. They're ranked at 14th. We'll see what happens. I think it's a year. Again, Bryce Underwood's just turning 18, I think, yesterday or something. So they've got a little bit of time to go before they hit it. But no, I think there was no – look, they're shockingly close. There's only a couple swaps in the college or in the AP and the coaches poll. Hopefully Penn State holds on to that.
The ones that stand out to me is I think Michigan underrated based on their schedule. I think they're going to have a big year. Okay. Illinois overrated. I don't see them being number 12 in the country. And then when I scroll down a little bit, I thought Texas Tech might be a little bit higher because I think they have a real good outside shot here at winning the Big 12. Florida at 15. Look, I think Florida's talented like we talked about last episode, but their schedule is so daunting. I don't know if they're going to be able to finish 15th. And then I don't know if SMU is going to run it back, Jimmy, at 16.
Yeah, I'll throw in too because we talked about it on one of our preview shows. I would think of a Big Ten preview, but I'm not sure. As much as I want Cignetti in more interviews and I want to hear him talk as much as possible with that Pittsburgh twang and his frankness, I don't know that Indiana's 19 or 20 as these two polls have them ranked again. I think they might have overachieved last year and might fall back down to earth. I hope I'm wrong because I want as much Cignetti as I can get, but we'll see.
How do you feel about Bama? You think they're okay at 8? You think they're a playoff team?
Yeah, I mean, this is the only thing that would worry me about being at 8. I still think Bama gets the benefit of the doubt and gets overrated. That tells me they might be worse than we think. Maybe they're really 12 or 14.
All right, give me your plays for week 0. We'll end the show that way.
Cool. Quick plays from me for week 0. 1, give me UNLV minus 26.5 versus Idaho State. UNLV has 2 transfer quarterbacks. One of them, Alex Orji from Michigan from last year. This little predicted line in the middle of the summer was 31. It's dropped to 26.5, so I'll take it. The Rebels run all over Idaho State. And secondly, Sam Houston State getting 10 against the powerhouse of Western Kentucky. So give me Sam Houston State in the 10 points. Total's really high in that game. I think they're going to score, but I think Sam Houston State keeps it within 10 with not.
Look, Jimmy, someone's got to be on the top of the hill, so sometimes you can't look twice on the hilltoppers. But I agree with you. I think that when you look at the power rankings of those two teams, 10.5 or 10, wherever you can get it, seems like too many points. So I'm with you on that one. For me, I've been circling this line all summer, and I got it when it opened, so I got a better line than 3. I freaking love K-State over in Ireland against Iowa State. I think Avery Johnson has an outside shot here to make a lot of noise for a Heisman Trophy candidate. Give me the 3. I give the 3. I mean, and I love K-State to get off to a good start here. Second game for me, and look, if you look at the predictive models, it's going to tell you Stanford all day, and I think a lot of people are going to bet Stanford getting points now. I don't see it. I think Hawaii is a great bet, given 2, 2.5. I'll be honest with you, I got this early in the summer, Jimmy, like I told you. I got Hawaii actually getting points in this game. I think Hawaii's going to pound Stanford. I don't think Stanford's a very good football team. I looked at who's coming back. I dove into this game pretty deep. I don't think their defense is very good. I don't think their offense is very good. I think Hawaii is going to run not just run and pass all over them. So I like Hawaii, and it wouldn't shock me if they win this game by 2 scores. All right. My last pick, and if you've followed this show, you know where I'm going here. And that is Fresno State getting almost 2 touchdowns. I got them at 13.5. That line has fallen now. I think it's 12.5 at most books. It's a play against Kansas. I've watched this Kansas team for a few years now, especially with our boy Keegan at KC Sports Authority. Again, check out their channel on YouTube. They're Kansas guys. I don't trust them to beat any team by 2 scores. Do I think Kansas will win? Yeah, they probably will squeak this out. But Fresno's going to cover 13.5. Lock up Fresno State. If you're going to make a big play this weekend, for me, it's Fresno State 1, K-State 1A. Lock it up. That's where I'm at, Jimmy. Jimmy, any final words for the folks on college week 1?
No, finally back to, hey, at least it's real football. We're back to real football.
We're back, folks.
I love it.
Me too. All right, again, everyone, if you like the show, please hit that subscribe, follow button, and please recommend us to a friend. Follow us on X and Instagram at WhoYouGot33. Jimmy claims he's going to post stuff. I know he never does, but he tells me every week he will. So maybe one of these weeks he's going to. And you want to be there when he finally does, because it's going to be good. When he finally does it, it's going to be good. And again, as always, like we've said, please send us any comments and questions our way at whoyougot33@gmail.com. And again, remember, it's YA, not YOU. It's whoyougot33@gmail.com. And we want to know what bourbon team you're on. So come on, email us. Let us know so we can report back on the next show. Jimmy, any final words?
We will post picks every weekend for our college and our NFL. We're back in season. Let's go.
We are back in season, and yes, we're going to have you covered on Survivor. We're going to have you covered on your Pick'em if you're in one of these spread pools. If you're not, sign up at DraftKings. They have huge pools for Survivor that are awesome value. And for Pick'em, where you pick 5 games against the spread every week, huge pots. Sign up at DraftKings. DraftKings, you heard me here. You should sponsor us. It's fine. All right, good luck, everybody. Let's cash some tickets. And remember, if you bet some totals this weekend, it's never under until it's over.